In this episode, we welcome back the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, with returning guest Kaya King, along with Dean Dafis, the Director of the Office of Eviction Prevention and the Division of Housing and Community Resources.
Eviction is a loaded term. People have a lot of assumptions, perceptions about it, and I think misconceptions. And from your expertise and experience, what are some of the common misconceptions and the myths around eviction? Because I think that sometimes informs the fear, the bias, right? And also the challenges that people who are in this population they did not choose to get into to be able to make a way out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the number one misconception about eviction is that you can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
That when you are facing eviction, when you're threatened by your landlord, that you've got to move out immediately. And a lot of people end up self-evicting, and it creates a crisis for us, a displacement crisis. It adds to our homelessness risk because we know, and perhaps we will be exploring in another podcast, the affordability crisis in New Jersey, the lack of sufficient affordable housing.
Right.
We're making great strides in building more units, but we are behind. And so we urge folks, when they are threatened, when they receive that initial notice by their landlord that they may be evicted, to please do not move out. The first thing they should do is seek assistance immediately. That is the second misconception, that there isn't help.
Mm-hmm.
And psychologically that makes sense, right? Because we're talking about, when you look at the numbers about when you look at the data, who is being evicted, who is historically disproportionately affected. We look at folks in poverty who've been experiencing poverty all their lives for generations. Mm-hmm. We're looking at our Black and brown households with children who have not received the assistance always that they were eligible for, and who have many other barriers beyond economic and financial barriers, structural barriers, and other things in their way to receiving fair shot and opportunity, right? So, of course, these folks are going to think, there isn't help for me. Mm-hmm. It's over for me. And so I think, if we can stress anything from this, is that help is available. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're engaged in doing. We want to get to folks before it's too late. Mm-hmm. The other misconception, the third misconception of eviction is that you've got time. Mm-hmm. Time is not on your side. In New Jersey, which is a pro-tenant, and has otherwise very strong tenant protections when compared to other states in our great nation. In New Jersey, however, eviction is a summary proceeding. It's one day opportunity for you to defend your housing, the roof over your head. And the process goes very quickly from the time a case is filed against you. And so we want to encourage people to seek help immediately. Make that call, send that email, reach out to community-based organization immediately. Because there are resources, and those resources are more likely to help you avert your displacement if we can get to you earlier in the process.
And Dean, just to follow up on that, so absolutely people should seek help at the earliest possible moment. But I think a lot of times people don't know who to call or where to go. Can you give some advice on that? Absolutely.
So that's why we built as Kaya introduced, the Comprehensive Eviction Defense and Diversion statewide network. And again, just to clarify for folks, we could not come up with a better acronym than CEDD. And if there's anyone out there who is inspired accordingly, please let us know. We could come up with a better acronym than SAID. But the idea is to get to people where they are. So what we offer is immediate access at no cost to an experienced caseworker hired by one of our providers on the ground in all of the communities across the state of New Jersey. These are community-based nonprofit social services agencies who have caseworkers, right, who are very experienced in crisis intervention management, case management, and in homelessness prevention. Eviction prevention is homelessness prevention farther upstream, as Kaya mentioned in the introduction. So you get access to a resource navigator who can help you navigate the court process and all of the available programs that you might be eligible for. Not just rental assistance, but social services benefits, utility assistance, and even crisis intervention and case management for households who have additional vulnerabilities. We serve households with disabilities, for instance, in healthcare, complicated healthcare needs, right? So those folks need extra help, extra hand-holding, extra case management, and navigating the healthcare system as well. So we provide all of that through a resource navigator, but that resource navigator is also paired up with no-cost, quality, free legal advice. And this is the other misconception about eviction, if I may, is that when you're facing eviction, you don't need a lawyer. You absolutely do. And we can provide one for you if we can get to you earlier enough to help you. Because even if the issue is just about owing rent and getting you access to financial resources to pay back the rent, even just for that, validating the amount of rent that is owed and having a legal advocate who can best negotiate with your landlord, who 9 times out of 10 is doing so through their counsel or attorney, will guarantee better results. It will make sure that if you are engaging in a settlement with your landlord to get to stay in your apartment, that you're doing so in an informed manner and that you're promising something that you can truly sustain and promise. And often, because eviction is scary, and because you're in a crisis, and because you're in a crowded hallway with 300 other people on the spot on that very singular one day that you have to go to court and plead your case in eviction in New Jersey, you're pressured to agree to something that you're probably not going to be able to meet,
right?
And therefore default and be locked out anyway. So going back to your question, Bob, the resource navigators, we have integrated them into the court process itself. So they're in the court to catch people on the day of their court hearings. Okay. But they're also in the community to get the word out to folks before their court date through an exclusive data sharing agreement that we were successful in procuring with the courts themselves. We have access to the court calendar in advance of the hearings so that we can reach out to folks before court and encourage them to call us back and to let us help them before court.